Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello guys, I hope that you are doing great. And let me ask you the normal question that how's life? I hope that life is good and everything goes well. I try hard just to speak slowly, but I need to tell you something at first that if you find it hard somehow to deal with the way that it's a new way for you just to listen and to follow the slide of the PowerPoint. So feel free anytime just to repeat it one more time, more than one time. Like for example, to see it for the first time, then try to come again and to listen for it again, and then can try to ask yourself and interact when you listen to it. So inshallah, it's gonna be easier for you to study and to repeat it whenever you want to come to it again. Okay, so let me start with the Monday session, which should be held in last Monday, but inshallah we are going just to cover all the things that should be covered this week. So today we're going to be talking about the meaning of communication. I know that we have tackled communication meaning last session, but I would like just to remind and to refresh your mind that the thing that we have finished, we define what does it mean, the word communication, and as we talked about it last session that we were together, it means that yes, it's the way that you talk to someone, right, by words, okay, and we said that we have someone who's sending the message, the sender, and someone who's receiving this message. We call him or her the receiver, and they are communicating why to deliver a certain message. This message can be just by words or can be just written, whatever the way you like is. Okay, so this is the first thing that we tackled or we talked about it last session. Let's move forward. Okay, and then we discussed and we thought together about the 10 social occasions and the people that you may find in those social occasions. As we said, birthday parties, wedding parties, whatever the place, clubs and these things, fun days at the universities, schools, whatever. So you can find different people in different social occasions, okay? And here also that we've discussed that we thought about the 10 types of people in different occasions, and we discussed that one is the Mr. Know-it-all. This person is pretending that he knows everything. When you tell him something, it's not new thing for him. He just knows that I know everything and you did not add for me a lot. So he all the time that you see that, he just like look into you like very proudly in a proud way, and he's just like talking to you that I know everything. The person that is passive as you see in the picture, passive from the word passive. When you know in the grammar you transfer or you shift the sentence from active to passive. Passive means there is no like subject or no there is no one. There is no one can take the action or just the initiative. So he just like follow the people, okay, and he's under control. The third one is the dictators. Those people, they would like to give orders and over control the person on the other sides. Like for example, we said different people in, for example, in different companies, like managers, like different people, they are somehow dictators. They would like to over control the people in front of them. Then the people, they say yes all the time. Yes people, we call them yes people, that they would like, for example, okay, so we have a hangout, do you like to come? Yes, I would like to come. Okay, and the no people, that anything they said, no, I do not agree, I disagree, no. And the grappers means what? All the people that they can complain over and over and over. And as we said that we have this word in the last unit, we call it grouch people. They are complaining and feel sad and sorry over everything that they have in their life. Okay, then we are going to go today the same idea, which is, as you see here, that you have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and 6 pictures. You have A, B, C, D, E, F, and here that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have here 6 conversations, and on the other side here that you have different vocabulary, different words to define the different people on those pictures. Let's see. First one, that someone is saying that, excuse me, let me say. Okay, so what we call this person. The second one is, hi, are you enjoying the party? Okay, what do you think about this person is, I really enjoyed, and this lady is not here. Okay, and I'm absolutely the best tennis player. What do you think about this man? And here that it's a great tie. Okay, what do you think? And here, so then I blah 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 means that someone who's talking a lot. So let's go here to this one. It's a good idea to try out different topics to get the conversation going. And conversation starter, this just that. So conversation starter, this is describing someone who's just can start the conversation. For example, when you are at let's say wedding party and you're standing alone, so you found someone who comes to you and asking you, what do you think about the party? So did you like it? Why and why not? So what do you think about which one of those? Okay, so it's gonna be B. How are you enjoying the party? Let's go for talking about your compliments too much. It's often considered rude, but that doesn't stop that braggart. Braggart means what? Braggart, this is the person who talks a lot and a lot and a lot about himself and his achievements. So as you know that, it's gonna be D. This man is talking about I'm absolutely the best tennis player about himself. As you go here for 3, saying nice things about others is customary for complimenter. Complimenter, as you know, that the person that is telling other people good words. For sure, it's gonna be E. It's rude to ignore your conversation partner. What does it mean, ignore? Ignore, which means to keep it aside or you are not focusing with it. Okay, but wandering mind doesn't anyway. So here does it anyway. Wandering, what does it mean, wandering? Wandering means he's not here, like absent-minded. So as you see, this lady I've really enjoyed, so it's gonna be C. This lady is wandering mind, which means she's looking around and she's not focused. And as you remember, guys, I asked you before what the difference between concentrate and focus. Okay, so I need you just to try to focus with those different meanings and you can get it easy. Talking about topics that interest you is fun. Unfortunately, the bore is interesting to no one else. Bore, what does it mean, bore? Someone who's bored, which means he's feeling bored. Yes, so what do you think? So then blah blah blah. So as you see, those man and lady, they are just feeling bored because of that man. He's talking a lot and they are not focused and they feel that we're not interested. And here, it's usually considered impolite to interrupt people, but the interrupter is always jumping into the conversation out of turn. Yes, interrupter person, that the person is cutting the talk between people. We call him just interrupter or jumping into the conversation, or someone who speaks over someone else. Okay, so excuse me, let me say. So as you see here that this man was talking to this lady and this person, excuse me, let me say, but he's actually interrupted person. Okay, so let's move forward. So guys, here the most important thing is to focus with these bold vocabulary: conversation starter and the braggart and complimenter and wandering mind and bore and the interrupter. Please focus with a pronunciation, and at the same time from this picture you can get the meaning easily. Let's move forward. Yes, here it was just like questions. I need you to answer them while you are watching these slides. What makes a conversation interesting or boring? What do you think? And what are the qualities of good conversationalist? I need you just to think together about the answers for those 2 questions. And in order to practice English more, you can just open the recorder of your mobile phone and start answering those questions, because actually this is not a subject for just like studying theoretical. I need you to practice the English. So you can just pause the recording right now and you go and to record for yourself and ask yourself what makes conversation interesting or boring. Like, I need you to reflect it or to ask yourself in your real life, your actual life, what do you feel? And what are the qualities for good conversation? Okay, list. Like, I need you just to tell me a list for the qualities of good conversation. Okay. Okay, so guys, here I need you just to go to this small piece of grammar. It's really nice for you just to try to get the difference between those two sentences. However, they are given the same meaning. So first one is, it's impolite to talk about yourself too much. Here, talking about yourself too much is impolite. So it's very clear that in the first one that we use the infinitive for, and here that we use the gerund, and here that we use its verb to be plus adjective or a noun, and here that we used verb to be and adjective. So let's move to express about the behavior of some people by using three different things. Here that you have the first one, which is using just verb to be and adjective plus infinitive to talk, and here talking the gerund ing verb, and then you can continue the sentence. So let's move forward to get the three different features or categories or expressions of telling or talking about the way of dealing and treatment with other people or commenting over their behaviors. So guys, let's go for more details by using the three different ways of commenting on someone's behavior. So our first one is using the adjective or the gerund. So I'm gonna say, for example, it's rude to ignore your conversation partner. Ignore, which means to keep it aside or you don't give attention, or ignoring your conversation partner is rude. So here ignoring, okay, it's a gerund, and here it's rude to ignore. Okay, so here infinitive form. Second one is using it's considered, okay, and then you say the adjective, it's considered impolite, it's considered, for example, inappropriate, it's considered, for example, offensive to interrupt people. Okay, so here you use the infinitive to interrupt after it's considered and the adjective. Okay, so you use the action with the verb after the adjective. But here interrupting, you start by the gerund, people is considered impolite. So you can here add in the infinitive form, it's considered. And the third form, you can say it's customary. Customary means it's normal, it's usual, it's like normal. Okay, for the complimenter to say nice things about others. So you used it's customary for. You should use after for a person or a pronoun. Person, like for example, complimenter, this is the person, you describe him as a complimenter, or for example, it's a customary for him, pronoun, or her. Okay, so here you are going to use it's a customary for and followed by a person and then infinitive, but here it's a considered adjective and then you use the infinitive, and then you can say, for example, saying. So here you use the infinitive, but here saying nice things about others is customary for the complimenter. Okay, so let's recap back what we have already mentioned, the three different ways. First one is the infinitive, it's rude to ignore or ignoring, here the gerund. Or you can just put considered after the verb to be, it and is. It's considered impolite because you can say in the normal it's impolite, as here it's rude, but here we added considered. Impolite to interrupt, okay, but here interrupting people is considered impolite. So the difference between here and there is using considered, okay, between the subject it and the verb to be, and then I'm sorry, to use it before just it's considered, okay, and then you can add just considered and then impolite, okay, to interrupt people. And the last one, which is you can just use some adjectives by adding for, okay, the preposition for, but you should just make sure that it's followed by a person or a pronoun. So it's a customary, okay, for the complementer, okay, a person or a pronoun to say. Or saying nice things about others is customary for complementer. So those are different things to express the way of dealing with others, okay? So I hope that now it's more clear. Yes, here that we have some exercises to do together. So I'm just gonna give you like a hint to answer, and I let you just to try to exercise this to make sure that you've understood it well. You have here, first one, it's inappropriate to talk about politics at work or at school. What does it mean it's inappropriate? Inappropriate. If I'm gonna say appropriate, that means it's positive thing. When I'm adding inappropriate, which means it's not acceptable, so it's a negative thing. So it's inappropriate to talk about politics at work or school. So this is the infinitive, right? So I used here, it's inappropriate to talk. If I would like to shift it to gerund way, so I'm gonna say talking about politics. So here, talking about politics at work or school, is inappropriate. Not it's, because as we said, talking using the gerund, that means I used already the subject it. Using certain gestures, it is impolite in some foreign countries. Gestures like some things or facial expressions, like when you look to someone in a way or just to shake your head in another way. So that exactly the meaning of gestures. So here using certain gestures is impolite in some foreigner countries. So which way this? Yeah, gerund. So I need you to shift it to be infinitive way. What do you think? So we're gonna say that it's impolite in some foreigner countries to use certain gestures. Okay, so up till now we did our best in the grammar part, okay, to be understood well. So I need you to practice them, okay, and you have already the soft copy of the book, so you can just go, or from the PowerPoint here you can just use whatever you want, the infinitive or just gerund phrases. Okay, let's move forward. Okay, so let's move forward and go for the vocabulary part. And here, as you see, that we are going to categorize all these new vocabulary based on being positive, negative, or neutral. Neutral, which means it's not negative or it's not positive, it's in between. So, which means simply it's acceptable. So, let me go for the first one, which is compliment. Compliment, this is when you say a good word for someone, so it's totally positive. The second one is an insult. An insult means when you do or when you say a bad action for someone, so this is totally negative. Appropriate, this is a word when you do something appropriate, which means acceptable for people and good for people, so it's positive. Bad form, this is when you do impolite action, this is totally negative. Inappropriate, so this is the in, which means the opposite of appropriate, but actually this is a negative one. Inappropriate, which means it's not acceptable at all. Like for example, it's inappropriate to shout at someone in the public places or in the class, so which means it's a bad action or it's not acceptable, so it's a totally negative. Normal, which means like it's acceptable for people, so it's a neutral, because this is the neutral in between. Offensive, this is a bad thing, so someone just when you feel offensive, that means when you feel offensive or offensive action, that is action that makes you feel that you are upset or angry or nervous because someone did a bad action or impolite or rude action for you, so this is totally negative. Polite, so being polite, like you are good, which means just it's positive one. And rude means what? Rude, as we said, it's very negative one, which is when you say bad words for someone. Rude, like bad words out loud, or just when you feel angry at someone, so you start saying bad words, so this is really and totally bad and negative. Strange means it's not like it's not well known for all people, it's not known for all people, so they feel that it's strange, okay, or weird. So strange here, it means that it's like for example, you say someone is strange, so this person it's a negative thing because it's a strange. Typical, it's like for example when you say usual qualities between those two things or between this thing and the other, so this is neutral. And unusual, which means it has different from others, it's just different, so we can call it also as neutral adjective or neutral word. So I hear that we're going just to talk about, as we said before, or as we did before, you are going to record for yourself, talking about your feelings using these different categories and different words. Like for example, you kiss people on the cheek when you meet them, like Egyptian ladies, as like this picture. So for me, I can just share my feeling. I can say, for example, it's like it's inappropriate. Yes, I think it's inappropriate just to kiss like people on the cheek when you meet them. Okay, so I think for me it's inappropriate. Okay, so I need you guys to talk about your feelings regarding these different situations by using those vocabulary and words. The most important thing to know their meanings plus their categories, which one is positive, which one is negative, and which one is neutral. Okay, so guys, for today we have been finished with this session. I hope that you got all the information or needed to be like well known for you, and you got benefit, and you have understood everything. As I told you, that if you do not understand anything, okay, you can repeat again and again and again till you can be aware of understood. Let me tell you like the last sentence in Arabic. طبعا هي بس السيشن طبعا مش بنفس اللينث اللي احنا كنا معتادين عليه، لان طبعا هيبقى فيه جزء عليكم يعني جزء كويس، ولكن انتوا هتعملوا براكسنج ات هوم. اي هوب والله ان انتوا تعملوا كده، وعايزاكم ان انتوا تشتغلوا اكتر باستخدام الكلمات دي. لو الواحد فيكم فتح السلايد، هي تقريبا كلها على بعضها تبقى 20 minutes، اسمعها كده وانت قاعد بتعمل اي حاجه، هتلاقي نفسك ان انت easily to get، وهتلاقي نفسك خلاص حفظت الكلمات by repeating بس. اوكي do your best، وان شاء الله ربنا معاكم for all what's next ان شاء الله. I hope for you all the best ان شاء الله. See you ان شاء الله on the next session.